Hello, guys, and welcome. We are starting a new month. As you can see, we are in March and we are starting a new unit as well. This is the 3-week calendar, and this is what we're doing for the week of March 1st. So, on March 1st, Monday, you should be working on Unit 2, Lesson 1. You're going to read A Cat is Not a Can of Soup. And there is no quiz associated with this test, but you still, with this lesson, but you still need to do it because you could see questions from this on the 2.2 quiz. So on Tuesday, you'll start 2.2 and finish 2.2. And you will learn about statements, how to use and find them in a persuasive essay. Remember, we just turned in our persuasive essay in lesson 116. If you've not done that yet, please get that in ASAP. It is overdue. Computer graded, there will be a quiz attached to this lesson. Again, anything you learned in 2.1 could also appear on this quiz here. On Wednesday, 2-3, we will, in live classes, we will be taking our interim test. So here where it has on Thursday, take your interim test. We'll actually be spending class time at 8:30 to 10:15, 2:30-ish if you need, to take that in class altogether. But should you not finish it during that time, be sure that you do have it finished by Thursday at 5 p.m. And you should be starting on lesson 203 on Wednesday after you're done with classes. And this lesson 203 will be due by 5 p.m. Thursday. Okay, so you actually have kind of 2 days to work on 203. There is not a quiz attached to it, but take really good notes because you're going to have a bit of a gap because next week is where you'll pick up with 2.04 and there is a quiz, and 203 questions could be on that 2.4 quiz. So take really good notes on 2.3 because you're going to have the weekend gap there. Remember, Fridays are always used for catch up, and that's when I invite people to my special sessions to get extra help and support and do weekly check-ins with those that seem to be struggling. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and log into our OLS. So when you log into the OLS, you see a screen similar to this. So you have my schedule and classes. We're going to go to classes. And you would see all of your classes here, but since I only teach English, that's all I should see. So click on English, the purple one. And I'm going to go ahead and switch up here to student mode so it looks as much like yours as possible. And up here at the top, the only difference is you would see your grade, your progress, and if you have any overdues. If you have any feedback, they would be over here. Very important now that we have our teacher graded assignment that you be reading those feedbacks. That's how you're going to know what you made on that. Plus, by checking your grade book. Remember, there's 3 things you should do every Monday morning. Check your email, check your grades, read my newsletter. Of course, right here is the calendar. It's preferable that you go by this calendar instead of what's on your planner. Sometimes this pulls a little bit incorrectly. This calendar that I just went over shows you the best, and it'll be updated. I'm recording this kind of early, so it'll be updated with the correct calendar when you see this. And then please read my newsletter. I update this every Sunday evening so that it's ready for the next week. Sometimes I get it on Saturday, but usually it's Sunday. And then I have other announcements below that, but this is the main one. Always check that on Mondays. Read through it because in here I go over what we've been working on in the past, what's going on for the current week. Or we flashed right by the present. What's going on for the current week. And then I kind of give a brief overview over what's coming up in the next week. I always have my OLS lessons, the ones for this week, that you'll need for this week will be found there, and any previous lesson links will be found in this section. Then just below that, I have a link where you can access all my PowerPoint slides for any live class lessons. And if you're new or still having trouble finding things, I strongly suggest you and your learning coach watch my orientation video. It explains a lot. And of course, one of my extra credit opportunities is to do an orientation quiz. There was a little bit of confusion in the 116 because they had a reading log in there for you to do. That is not mandatory for you to do, but I do always have open, I believe it's up here, this big universe. I have it. Maybe it's down below. There we go. That's where it is. We have the link tree that has a lot of little screencasts made by me and the other 6th grade English teachers that show you how to do basic things like how to find your assignments, how to turn in teacher graded assignments. If you're having trouble with that from 116, like if that's still showing up overdue, but you know you turned it in, go watch that screencast about turning in teacher graded assignments. It shows you that you also need to turn them in the OLS. There's like a little place you need to go to mark it as complete. How to log into USA Test Prep if you're having trouble with that. If you continue after following these directions, please come see me. We often use quizzes in class. Oh, here is the big universe library. So, like I said, in 116, it had a reading log. I kind of have something going on here as extra credit. This has been year long. I have not had very many students participate in it, but it is extra credit that I can apply at the end of the year. You pick a book from Big Universe. It's just one that you can go to your local library. You can pick a book out of that you haven't read from your personal library at your home if you have one. You can pick a book from Big Universe, but the main thing is you pick a book, or you can use Amazon, you know, like if you have a Kindle. So any of those will be fine, or Apple Books, any of those. Just pick a book and then fill out this book survey. And then email me and let me know that you filled it out. So I'll go. I don't check it very often because, again, I don't get a lot of submissions. So once you finish a book survey, just shoot me an email saying, hey, Ms., I finished a book survey for extra credit. So that's where you could do that. Also, we use Moby Max for enrichment and remediation. If you're struggling in the USA Test Preps, I might assign you some extra practice in Moby Max. And 2, you take a pre-assessment and it shows where your learning gaps are, and it automatically tailors and makes that instruction specifically for you. It'll assign you lessons that you need to fill in those gaps or to just enrich your learning. And of course, if you need help, please come to open office, and you can, if you're going to come ahead of time, you can fill out this survey, which will tell me why you're coming, so I kind of have a better idea and can be prepared for you. It's Monday through Thursday, 1 to 1:30. Now, this week, I'm not sure if we're going to be having open office on Wednesday and Thursday, but if not, you can always drop me a line at ljordan@tvahallsville.org. Or you can call me at 254-307-0033 or send me a text message there. If your learning coach has not opted you in, however, for receiving phone calls or text messages from me, please be checking your email for my reply, or I will reach out to your learning coach with that reply if it's a little more in depth than what can be covered in an email. All right, let's get to it. So to get to your class lessons, you'll want to go up here to content. You don't want to go through your scheduler as much. It's better to go by content. It's more stable. It's just a good habit to get into. And we are no longer, if you've not turned in this teacher graded assignment, let's go over how to turn that in real quick while I've got you here. So you would click on this up here. And then scroll down, and you see here where it says mark as complete. Click mark as complete. I'm not going to do it right now, but that will remove it from your overdue. So only mark that if you have turned in a narrative to the Go Formative and it's the correct link, and it's your final copy. You've made all of your edits and revisions. You're ready for me to grade it. This puts it in my box going, hey, so-and-so said theirs is ready to grade. So I'll go to Go Formative and grade your paper, and the grade will be put in the grade book, and you will receive feedback on your narrative. All right, let's go back to content. Excuse me. All right, let's get started on this week's work, which is Unit 2. We're no longer in Unit 1. Unit 2 is Poetry and Persuasion. We started talking about poetry this past week in live class sessions. So see, when I clicked on that, it opened up all the lessons for Unit 2. And we are ready for 201, Poetry and Persuasion. And see how there's only a learn attached to it? No quiz. 202 has a learn, but it should also have a quiz attached to it. It does not. What happened to the 202 quiz? I'm gonna have to look into that, because on our thing it says it has a quiz. Oh, I know what it is. Hold on a minute. Let me pause this video. I gotta fix something real quick. Okay, we're back, and I've got that done. So we are back at Unit 2, Poetry and Persuasion is the title of this unit. And our first lesson is always titled the same as the unit. So Unit 2, Lesson 1 is also titled Poetry and Persuasion. Don't get confused there. All right, so we have a learn here, so we're going to click on that learn. And you can see through all of these. We have a 202. There's where assessment comes in, and then 203, which is due for this week. Next week, you'll pick up with 204, and it has an assessment that you might find some questions from 203 on. And then you'll be doing 205. And then the following week, you'll be doing 206 and 207. And we'll go from there. But that's enough overview for now. Let's go ahead and start with the 201. Always do your lesson introduction. That's where your student guide can be found. Very important. In this Poetry and Persuasion, in this module, you'll be exploring two different types of writing, poetry and persuasion. You'll be focusing on understanding and writing different styles of poetry, and on convincing an audience in a persuasive essay. Pay attention as Kiana discusses her interpretation of the theme. All right, please watch the video. I'm not going to have it going here. You can do that on your own time. It's pretty self-explanatory. Always click over on the second one, and there is your student guide. So click on that to go ahead and download that or open it in another window. It goes over your various lesson objectives. To prepare, it gives you a list of materials. I like to go ahead and download those right here when I have these open. It also goes over keywords and pronunciations and their definitions. So affix. An affix is a word part attached to a root or base word to create a new word. Evaluate. To examine something in order to determine its worth or significance. Evidence. A specific detail such as a fact or expert opinion that supports a reason. Persuasive essay. An essay in which the writer tries to convince readers to agree with the writer's stand on an issue. Reason. A statement that explains why something is or why it should be. Root. A word part with a special meaning to which prefixes and suffixes can be added. For example, spec is a root that means see. And then it kind of lists the activities and how you're going to be assessed. And let's go ahead and download Poetry and Persuasion. It's going to download down here, as you can see. And we're going to click open. All right. In order to be able to write on this, you need to click on this yellow bar and click Enable Editing. And then you will be able to type right on it. So you should not have to print this out. You can just type right there on it. So I'm just going to leave this open. In fact, I'm going to move it to my second screen. So when we need it, we'll be ready for it. And this just popped up with it. All right, big ideas and objectives. Sorry, kitty cat has decided to jump up here. All right, and it pulled up on my second screen, so let me move it over. So again, once it's pulled up, again, you're going to have to click the Enable Editing. And let me make this just a little bit bigger so we can see what's going on here. All right, so language, arts, big ideas and objectives, poetry, and persuasion. In this module, you will write a persuasive essay to interpret and write about poetry. So that's coming up. And go ahead and have that pulled up. You might want to go ahead and save it. Graphic organizer. There's going to be a graphic organizer. We're going to be using Greek and Latin roots, it looks like. So when we're talking about affixes and suffixes, that will be a good reference document to have. So I think this is pulling over all of it for the whole unit, I believe. Again, you want to click that Enable Editing. And I'm going to, again, make this a little bit bigger so we can kind of see more what's going on. There we go. All right, so you have your root word. Where did it come from? It's that's called etymology in the dictionary. The meaning, and then you can find a picture to go with that word. So you may want to, and then give some examples of how that word is used. Pretty cool. I like that graphic organizer. Then you have a vocabulary list. We'll just go ahead and download the vocabulary list. Again, click that Enable Editing. And again, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so we can kind of see what's going on. All right, exclude, negotiate, evacuate, vacate, pandemonium, omnipresent, seclude, omniscient, renegade, holocaust, recluse, logical, evaluate, concede, elaborate, stanzas, speaker, refrain, hyperbole, and narrative. So those are some words, new words that you're going to learn. I would keep this pulled up, and every time you learn the definition, I would copy and paste that definition in there. And you can also use, there's lots of graphic organizers too for vocabulary to help cement the meaning of new words into your brain. Model essay. This will become important. I do not have the essay one opened up yet. Okay, so don't worry if you get to that point and it's not open yet. I'm kind of slowing you down because I want us to be able to talk about it a little bit in class, or at least record that lesson video before I open that up. But you can go ahead and start looking at this model essay of what yours should look like as you're getting ready for that writing process, when you start brainstorming or making your rough draft. So again, I'm going to click Enable Editing. So they titled theirs, "A Cat is Not a Can of Soup." Pumpkin, are you a can of soup? She says no. So I'm not going to read the whole thing to you right now, but I would suggest for you to look over it. And when we get close to that lesson, I will read it for you. But you can go ahead and pull that up and look over it. Again, I'm going to just pull it off to the side for now. and then the rubric in which you'll be graded on that assignment. So we're going to pull that open. And again, it opened up on my second screen. So let me pull it over here. And again, I'll go over this rubric more as we get closer to that writing assignment, which will be in a few weeks. Not this week, not next week, but the week after. About the time I get finished grading up your first, your personal narrative. So again, I want you to always shoot for the A, okay? Don't shoot for the B or the C that's minimal. Always shoot for this A. So look what that expectation is to get an A. Because here's the deal. If you only shoot for the basic, the C, if you're off by just a little bit, it can easily put you down into the failing one. Whereas if you're shooting for this A and you miss it by a little bit, you're going to have a B. If you miss by more than a little bit, you'll have a C. You'll still have a passing grade. So aim small, miss small. That's what my dad used to tell me when taking me out practice shooting. All right, aim small, miss small. Okay, so I lost the page. What happened? Yes, I have tons of icons on my screen. Just give me a second to get back here. When I moved over to the other screen, it made everything else disappear. There we go. This is the correct one that we're looking at. Okay. Now that we have looked and downloaded all of our materials and looked over our student guide, we are ready to click this arrow to go on to module 1 in lesson 1 in the learn portion. Poetry and persuasion. All right, the big ideas and objectives doc. So let's go ahead and download that. I don't remember seeing that. It may have been there, but I don't remember. And again, it's going to open on the second screen. So I'm going to pull it over. Click this enable editing. So poetry and persuasion. In this module, you'll write a persuasive essay and interpret and write about poetry. Some learning objectives. Actively participate in group discussions as a leader and supporting member and or as oppositional member. Identify key characteristics of persuasive text. Identify author's claims and supporting evidence. Analyze support for author's claim using textual evidence. Identify unsupported claims. Use examples from the text to evaluate the main argument. Again, if you like to argue, persuasive texts are going to probably be your favorite persuasive essays. Persuasion. Use examples from the text to evaluate the main argument. Use reasons and evidence to support the thesis statement. That's your main idea statement. Use vivid language and maintain a consistent tone. Determine which facts support the argument and which refute the argument. And refute just means oppose. Make inferences and draw conclusions from a persuasive text, citing examples from the text. Identify conjunctive adverbs such as consequently, furthermore, and indeed. We're going to make our writing sound very mature. We're maturing. We're maturing sixth graders that are about to be seventh graders. We're going to start using higher end vocabulary than just good, bad. Yeah. Identify correct and incorrect use of conjunctive adverbs. It's only logical. Be a knowledgeable consumer of information by recognizing faulty reasoning. Use logical reasoning. Actively participate in the group discussion as a leader, a supporting member, and or as an opposing member. Define faulty reasoning, identify faulty reasoning, logical fallacies, and persuasive media. Define persuasive techniques, including overgeneralizing, bandwagon, circular reasoning, and loaded language. Identify subordinating conjunctions such as while, because, although, and if. Show me the evidence. So this is where I like to call it the Jerry Maguire. Show me the evidence. Understand how claims, reasons, opinions, and evidence are used to create persuasion. Learning objectives: use logical reasoning, reasons, and evidence to support the thesis statement or main idea statement. Use logical reasoning to find common Latin and Greek roots and affixes. Use examples from the Latin and Greek roots. Use examples from the text to evaluate the main argument. Distinguish between fact and opinion. Identify claims. Differentiate claims and opinions. Identify clearly stated claims and determine evidence that supports each reason. The opposing point: conceding a point can make your argument stronger. Use reasons and evidence to support the thesis statement or main idea statement. Use logical reasoning to find common Latin Greek roots and affixes. Use textual evidence, analyze commonly found features and informational texts that aid in the development of ideas. Identify counterclaims, identify concessions or refutations to counterclaims, and incorporate counterclaims to strengthen your argument. Poetry and persuasion. Okay, I'm not going to read the entire document. If you need me to, come to open office and I'll be glad to, but look over it. We'll be going over that one step at a time as we work through the unit. All right, let's go on to the next slide. Poetry Persuasion 2, vocabulary using classical roots and affixes. Over the course of this module, you will also study 20 vocabulary words. You will be expected to use these words in some of your assignments during the module. Later, you will be tested on the words on the module exam. So again, use that graphic organizer to copy the definitions over so you have something to study from. As you complete the module, locate these words and learn their definitions. Try using roots and affixes to make an educated guess about the vocabulary word's definition. Complete the graphic organizer for 5 words. All right, we've got another graphic organizer here. Many words in English are actually made of 2 pieces, roots and affixes, that are of Greek or Latin origin. A root is the basis of a new word. So again, you could click here. A root is a word part with a special meaning to which prefixes and affixes can be added. For example, spec is a root that means see. So again, you can go right here and right click, copy, pull back up that Word document. I believe it's this one. No, it's not. Not that one. Vocabulary. There we go. The one that says vocabulary. Hello. Okay, so we pull this over and we find where it has, is root one of our words? No, it's not. But you can always add it to the bottom. Say you want to add root. What is root? All right, and then I like to right click because then I get this option where I can paste it, and that's too big. I don't want it to look like that. That looks normal. So let's just do it like that. That keeps it all the same size. And there you go. You have it already in there. Always hit save afterwards. And the way I would do is I would do file, save as the first time at least. And you could save it however you want to. You could change it to Unit 2 vocabulary. And however, that's up to you. And then click save. And hopefully you have created an ELA file folder for the PowerPoints and things like this, these graphic organizers from the OLS lessons. So you should have an ELA, then you should have something that says OLS, maybe one that says USA Test Prep, maybe one that says live class, and then you can put things that you save in those various parts. That's a good way to organize it. And then let's see. It doesn't usually stand on its own. An affix is a prefix or suffix you added to a root. For example, think about the word interrupt. The root is the Latin rupt, which means to break. Inter is the affix prefix that means between. So the meaning of the word is to break between. Not a bad explanation of the word interrupt. So again, you can take and copy this, highlight it, right click, copy, or you can do keyboard Control C, hold down the Control key and go to C. Pull back over here. Let's see, I believe affix is one of our words. I would like it if this was in alphabetical order, but it's not really, and it isn't. So let's just add it. Affix. And again, I like to do the right click. You can do Control V to paste, but again, it may paste it where it's that weird. And here we're given the option of what size and how we want to paste it. So I like that. I personally prefer that. Okay. So let's make sure we've got these graphic organizers. I'm just going to download them and make sure that they look like the one that I pulled up earlier. And if I do have, yeah, okay. So let me move that one over here. The Greek and Latin, where's the one? There it is. Okay, so the one that this first one is this one that was on our materials page that we've already pulled up. It's the one with the tree root, okay? You've got your root word. So you're gonna put your root word right here. Look up in the dictionary, find out where it came from. Is it Greek? Is it Latin? Is it what? Usually most of them are going to be Greek or Latin. Then you're going to put its meaning from the dictionary. Find a picture off the internet that you can associate with that word and give some examples of how it might be used, a sentence or two. Okay. And then that vocabulary list, again, is that one where I was copying and pasting all the lovely vocab words. Where did I? Let me pull it up again. There it is, which is this one that I was showing you how to fill out earlier. And then I added the root and affix. And I like to go in here once I have it and bold those. You can do that by highlighting it and either clicking the B right here, or you can do Control B on your keyboard to bold those, just so they stand out. And while I'm doing that, I want to do it afterwards because otherwise it could bold the whole definition. Okay. So now we're going to go to slide 2. Poetry and Persuasion 2, vocabulary, try it. Here is a sentence with some tricky vocabulary. In some climates, people live with the omnipresent threat of a natural disaster. Use affixes to make an educated guess about the definition of the word omnipresent. Hint, the affix omni means of all things. Okay, so let's think about this. What is our root word here? Let's go back to this graphic organizer and use it to help us figure it out. Our root word is, it's going to let me type inside of it. Doesn't really want me to type inside of it. You may have to print this one out, or you may have to insert text boxes. Let's see if it'll let me do that. Let's draw a text box. Okay, yes, it will let me draw a text box. So our root word is present. All right, you'd have to look up in the dictionary and find out where is it from. And then omni, it tells us the meaning of omni, and you can put the meaning of present, the meaning of omni, make your thoughts on what omnipresent might mean. If omni means of all things, And present means, of course, present is this moment in time. So maybe, and we know omniscient, we know some other words. Omniscient means knowing everything. Omniscient means to know. So all things, knowing all things. So present means at this time, all things of this time, maybe? Let's see if we're right. You can decode the word omnipresent by using its affix. Present is a familiar word meaning in place. Okay, so omni means, as you know from the hint, is an affix meaning of all things. So the word omnipresent means to be everywhere, present in all things. All right, we weren't that far off. So see how roots, knowing the definition of a root and the meaning of the affix, whether it's a prefix or suffix. Prefixes come before, suffix comes after the root. Then we can figure out the meanings of words, even words we don't normally know. So again, it gives us the definition of omnipresent. Means to be everywhere. So we can go back and copy and paste. Now, you don't have to turn these documents in, but it helps with your learning and it helps with you to study for those tests. I know, there it is. Omnipresent dash right. Hold on, that's not where I want to do it. After the dash, right click and paste. There we go. And then again, I like to, once I have a definition in, go ahead and bold that. And click save. Every time you add a new word, be sure that you click save. All right, we have done slide 2, so now we're moving on to module 3. The graphic organizer. Complete the graphic organizer for each word. Will help you organize the word in your reading and correctly use the word in your writing. Review the step-by-step instructions for completing the graphic organizer. So the first thing you're going to do is put your root word right there. Okay. The second thing is you're going to fill out, again, this portion. Let me make this a little bit bigger. This portion right here, you're going to have your root word here. You're going to go and find out in the dictionary, whether it's online using Webster's online dictionary, or if you have a physical dictionary that you're using at your home, find out the etymology. So let's look at the first word together. We'll do the first word together. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to do the icon, which is bio equals life. Logy means the study of. Okay, so we will, in the icon, apparently we're not putting a picture, we're putting that what the prefixes and or suffixes mean, because a word can have a prefix and a suffix. It can have multiple. It's no longer the longest word in the dictionary, but when I was growing up, it was anti-disestablishmentarianism was the longest word in the dictionary, and that has a ton of prefixes and suffixes in it. Then you're going to find the meaning. So biology is the study of life. We know that bio means life, ology means study of. So biology is the study of life, and you can double check it using your dictionary. And biology explores cell theory and give examples. So in other words, some sentences. Okay. So our first step is the root word. Okay, so we're going to do this with each of these following words. Okay. So we move on to the next one, I think. Sorry, my computer's being really slow today. Okay, we must have missed something. Let me go back. Wow, that was being slow. Nope, that's complete the graphic organizer for each word. In your reading. Correctly used. Okay, it's just showing, it's teaching you how to use that graphic organizer. So as we come across words, I guess we're going to use the graphic organizer. All right. Just biology. And it only shows the example with the word biology. Okay. All right. Now we're going to start talking about poetry and persuasion. You will be investigating how people use language to persuade us and to enlighten us. Have you ever heard a politician give a speech? What did you learn from the speech? How did you feel about the politician when the speech was over? People who work as a political speechwriter are masters of persuasion. They know just how to persuade people that their candidate is the best choice. In this lesson, you'll be reading a model persuasive essay. As you read, think about what the writer is saying and what techniques he or she is using to try to persuade you, the reader. Did it work? So now we're going to go back and I'm going to open up my persuasive essay. And again, it opened up on my second screen. Model essay, a can is not a can of soup. So here it is. It's not in our online or physical textbook. So if you don't do your learn lessons, you're going to be asking me, where is this cat is not a can of soup? It's in the learning module. That tells me you're not going through these learning modules. So very important to do the learning modules step by step. Have you been thinking of getting a pet? Wait a minute, before you rush down to the pet shop. Adopting a pet from the Fernandel shelter is often a wiser move than buying one. However, many families hesitate to visit the shelter because they aren't aware of its advantages or have mistaken ideas about what they will find there. To begin with, you may believe that you're more likely to find a healthier, well-adjusted dog or cat at a pet shop. From what I've seen here in town, not all pet shops are the same. Some good shops are run by animal lovers who try to give good care to the creatures they sell. Although they lack time to give much individual attention to each one, in other shops, the animals are treated like merchandise, like cans of soup or boxes of soap. These shop owners may buy dogs from puppy mills, businesses that turn out puppies as if they actually were cans of soup. The people running these mills provide food, water, and a place of sleep, but not much else. Sometimes they let the animals live in appalling conditions. The pet shop puppies from mills are definitely not healthy and well adjusted. On the other hand, a definite point in favor of the Ferndale shelter is that only animal lovers work there, and there are plenty of them to give the animals good care. During my visit to the shelter, I learned that it has two paid staff members and 13 volunteers spend time with every animal. They make sure each one gets exercise, has clean quarters, and is seen by a veterinarian. They deworm the dogs and treat mange. This isn't to say that all their animals are healthy. Sometimes the animals arrive at the shelter very sick. However, the shelter workers will not allow anyone to adopt a seriously ill animal. If an animal has a curable health problems or has been underfed, the workers inform the adopting family and give advice on how to care for the animal. Also, they will not allow any pet to leave their shelter until it has its shots and been neutered or spayed. This policy helps cut the numbers of unwanted animals in the community. You won't have a problem finding a gentle or sociable pet at the shelter. You might have the idea that all the animals there have something wrong with them. If they aren't deceased, they must be vicious. That's just not so. According to Tony Troy, who volunteers at the Ferndale shelter, she says that the majority of its inhabitants are sweet and fearlessly affectionate. Good pets are often abandoned by selfish owners who have change in their family situation, or dump the litters after letting their animals breed. Sometimes people just decide they don't want a pet any longer. Even that animal has been with the family for years. Other animals wind up at the shelter because they strayed too far from their homes and their families can't find them. Another advantage to visiting the Ferndale shelter is that the workers have gotten to know the pets well and can help you make your choice. For example, as Tony showed me around, she pointed out a fat orange cat and told me Ginger is very jealous, so she'll do best in a one cat home. Of one timid gray tabby, she said, Joey's always shy around strangers, but very playful and friendly when he gets to know you. She showed me dogs that were relaxed with children and others that were more suited to live with only adults. A great benefit that might surprise you is that pets are not expensive at a shelter. A family friend wanted only a purebred dog, so he refused to go to the shelter. Instead, he paid hundreds of dollars to a breeder. According to Tony, 25% of their cats and dogs are undoubtedly purebreds. All that someone needs to pay for is the cost of their vaccinations and neutering. One of the most important reasons for adopting a pet from the shelter is that you're giving a home to an animal that will be much happier in a stable household. The volunteers' care is good, but can't make up for the full attention of one owner. Animals, like people, need familiar surroundings and daily routines to feel comfortable. Even the shelter doesn't provide a consistent home. When the shelter gets too crowded, some of the confused animals have to be sent to a temporary foster home. To me, the very best reason for adopting a pet is that you get back tremendous loyalty and love from your rescued pet. I happen to think that animals from shelters appreciate good homes even more than pet shop animals do, making them more faithful and affectionate. Whether you agree that these animals are more faithful and affectionate or not, I think you really can't argue with the least with at least visiting the Ferndale shelter. You won't be wasting your time and you just might find the perfect pet for your family. And it did it again. I'm sorry, guys. All right, let's go down. Nope, there's no part 2. We're ready to move on to 5. A convincing argument. You must have had the experience of wanting to do one thing while your best friend wanted to do another. You probably tried to persuade your friend that your idea was better. You gave reasons that explained why you thought so. This is the process of persuasion. A persuasive essay is one in which the writer tries to convince readers to agree with the writer's stand on an issue. The writer presents reasons for his or her views and supports the reasons with facts, called evidence. People often use persuasive writing to promote their views on public issues in newspaper editorials or in letters to the editor. So again, we're going to click on these blue and we're going to copy and find our vocabulary document. And find the word reason. And they don't have it, but I'm going to go ahead and put it. And make sure that after that you have the bold clicked off. Right click and do that paste that's going to give it the same thing. And again, that's why I don't like to bold it ahead of time. Just click unbold. And then let's look for evidence, see if it's up here. Nope. So I'm going to go ahead and type it in. Again, it's already got it bolded. And then I'm going to click on the word and copy. And click back on vocabulary and right click, paste. Okay. And again, once you're done, click save. So reason, a statement that explains why something is or why it should be. And evidence is a specific detail, such as a fact or expert opinion that supports reason. Slide 2. A model persuasive essay. Before you begin reviewing model persuasive essay, take a minute to think about the type of text you'll be exploring. Obviously, persuasive essay is meant to persuade, knowing that you can predict that an author is going to try to persuade you, the reader, to agree with his or her ideas and opinion. Based on the type of text you'll be reading, make a prediction about what you're going to read. Read the model persuasive essay, A Cat is Not a Can of Soup. Use the reading graphic organizer to apply reading strategies. So again, this reading graphic organizer I think it's different, so I'm going to open it because I think this is the one that's, that has the question type. What type of text is this? Well, we know from our reading that it is going to be a persuasive essay. How do you know what type of text it is? What features does it have that tell you what the type of text is? And we can look through. Make predictions based on the heading. Cat is not a can of soup. What do you think this is going to be about? Well, probably cats. Maybe soup, cans of soup. Okay. Then while you're reading, you're going to check your predictions. Are they correct? Well, yes and no. And you can make any adjustments as needed. Like, okay, we later find as we read that they're comparing cats to a can of soup, especially if you're shopping for one at a pet store instead of a local animal shelter. What is the author's purpose for writing? What is his purpose for writing that we just read? To persuade the reader to find a pet from, in this case, you can put the exact one, but I'm just going to put a local shelter instead of pet shops. How is the text arranged? So was it in chronological order? Is it like opinion, fact? How was it organized? Look it over and see if you can tell me. After reading, check your accuracy. We needed to change our prediction a little bit. It was about cats, but it wasn't really so much about a can of soup like I talked about. It was more of comparing cats to being cans of soup when you purchase them from a pet store. What is the main idea of the text? I'm going to let y'all tell me that one. One piece of information that supports the main idea. Another piece of information. Y'all go find those. Find the textual support. Give me an example of a fact. Usually these have to do with numbers. Explain an opinion. Something that one believes, that one person could believe, but maybe someone else feels differently about. What is the author's tone or attitude in this text? I'm going to let you fill out all the after stuff for me. I'm not going to do all the work for you. If you get stuck on any one of these, please come see me in open office or shoot me an email. All right, we are moving on to Module 6. Check your reading. You have now read A Cat is Not a Can of Soup, a model of persuasive essay. Now think about it from a reader's point of view. Think about what you've learned from the essay. You can always refer back to the essay as you consider the following questions. Okay, and again, another thing I always do once we see these multiple choice questions is I open up a new Word document. Blank. And I'm going to title it 2.01 And you might want to put ELA 2 point. Yeah, let's do that. ELA, because you have multiple classes. Unit 2, Lesson 1, review, or you might want to put study guide. However you want to do it. Okay. And then I like to put number 1. And then I like to copy the question. And again, I like to right click so I can put it in how. I like that way the best. Okay. And then I'm going to come down here, and instead of putting number 2, I'm going to put A for answer. So once I know the correct answer, we'll do this one together. The main idea of an essay is the most important point it makes. What is the main idea of the sample essay? A, some pet shops are badly run. B, the animal shelter is often a better place than a shop to find pets. C, many pets at the shelter have loving personalities. Or D, shelter animals are always healthier than pet shop animals. All right, I know that this is not the main idea. I'm just going to show you what happens when you get it wrong. I got it wrong. Incorrect. Let's hit try again. Sorry about that. The animal shelter is often a better place to find pets. Let's see if that is correct. Karen stated that adopting a pet is often a wiser move than buying one. So now once we know what the answer is, we copy it and we bring it over here and paste it in. Okay. And then you're ready for question number 2. And I like to go to File, Save As, this PC. I need to make this a little bit bigger. So okay, there it goes. And then again, okay, it's gonna make me, okay. I'm gonna save it as ELA 2.01, 2.01 review. Save. And then I would do that with each time you see a multiple choice and have that pulled up when you take those quizzes too. A lot of times that's where they're going to pull these questions for the quizzes are from these multiple choice check for understandings. So we're ready for the next question. Now this one is a multiple one. So Karen provided reasons to support the main idea of her essay. What are 2 reasons for getting a pet at a shelter? The staff can help you find the best pet for you. Every animal that comes into the shelter is healthy. Purebred pets from a shelter are friendlier than ones that come from the breeders. Or pets at the shelter are often good-tempered. Okay, well, I know this one is right. See if you can find the other one. And I'll show you how I do this too. I'm going to check. Woo, I got them both. So in one like this that has both, again, I'm going to right-click the question. And then I'm going to paste it like that. Hit enter. And I'm going to backspace, put answer, and then I'm going to highlight just the ones that are true. And paste those in. And anytime I give an answer, it's going to have an A beside it. So that way I know that that one had more than one answer. Okay. And then I'm going to hit, oh, I've got to go backspace, backspace. And then I'm going to put number 3 again and hit tab. Oh. It'll take me back to that thing that I was doing before. In fact, I'm going to give it a space again. So it has a space just like before. And we're ready for question number 3. When Karen made a general statement, she backed it up with facts. She claimed that the pet's good care at the shelter Identify all the examples of good care that Karen mentioned in her essay. All right, we have the staff exercises the animals. The staff keeps the animals' living spaces clean. The staff brushes and washes the animals. A veterinarian checks and treats the animals. Check all that are facts. Check your answer. Remember to copy and paste the question and all correct answers in your review document. When you're ready, you can pause this. When you're ready, we'll move on to the next one. Karen had to supply facts to support her reasons. What sources of information did she use? Did she use her own observations, a worker at the shelter, a newspaper article, or a shelter brochure? Remember, you're clicking all that apply. Once you have the correct answer, copy and paste the question and all correct answers into your review document. Be sure to save it before moving on, since this is the last question. Pause the video if you need to. We come back. Now we're heading to Module 7. The characteristics of a persuasive essay. A persuasive essay is an essay in which the writer tries to convince the reader about a particular idea. When you read and write persuasive essays, there are 3 important components to consider. 1, claims. 2, reasons. 3, evidence. You should identify these 3 elements each time you read a persuasive essay. So let's look at what a claim is. A claim is the main idea of the persuasive essay. It is the idea that the writer is presenting to the reader. For example, in a persuasive essay about the dangers of chemicals in food production, the author claims might be that the use of chemicals in food production is a harmful practice. So again, I'm going to copy this. Right-click, copy. I'm going to pull up that vocabulary document because let's see if it's one of those vocabulary words. There we go, vocabulary. Claims, 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 claims. It's not, but I would add it. And then our next word is going to be reasons. And reasons. The reasons in a persuasive essay are just what they sound like. The writer states a claim and then states why he or she is making that claim. Reasons presented in a persuasive essay should be both logical and based on fact. Again, copy. Pull up that vocabulary document. We're going to put our dash and our space. And we're going to paste it. I didn't look that time, but I don't think I saw it. Nope. Is evidence up here? Nope. Okay. The next word is going to be evidence. In a persuasive essay, evidence is presented to prove to the reader that the writer's claim and reasons are based on fact. As a writer, you should present your evidence carefully, making sure it is fact-based, not opinion-based. As a reader, you should learn to evaluate the writer's evidence for facts and fallacies, which are false facts. And then we go back to our vocabulary. And right-click and paste it in there. Okay, and then be sure and hit save, of course, and minimize. All right, we have 7 slides in this one, so be sure and do all 7. Identifying claims. Let's review the first paragraph of the model persuasive essay, A Cat is Not a Can of Soup. Can you identify the author's claim? Have you been thinking of getting a pet? Wait a minute before you rush down to the pet shop. Adopting a pet from the Ferndale shelter is often a wiser move than buying one. All right, let's look at that, and it's highlighted. The author claims are presented in the first paragraph. The author is going to try to convince the reader that adopting a pet from the Ferndale shelter is a wiser move than buying a pet from the pet shop. As you're reading, plan on searching for the author's reasons. So I'm going to take it down to here, copy, and then do you remember that document that we had open? That was oh, not the essay itself, but where was it? It was the nope. I think it was this one. Okay, it's open somewhere. Got so many things open, I don't know what to do. It was called the reading guide. Greek and Latin. Oh, I know where it is. Hold on. Nope. Anyway, you can copy and paste that into that one where it was talking about what the main idea was. So copy and paste that into there. I'm sorry I'm not finding it right now. As you read the body of the essay, pay particular attention to the ways in which the author is trying to support the claim. Poetry and Persuasion 7, Connecting Reasons and Evidence. Let's check out how the author uses reasons and evidence to back up the claims, and a cat is not a can of soup. Slide 3. All right, so reasons and evidences. So we've got reasons on the left-hand side, evidences on the right. On the right-hand side, as evidence, it has some pet shop owners buy puppies from puppy mills, and animal shelters have plenty of staff to care for the animals. On the reason, it has the shelter pets are typically sweet and affectionate. Workers at the shelter are better prepared to help new owners, and pets are not expensive at a shelter. All right, now we have to choose where this one goes. Pets from pet shops may not be healthy and well-adjusted. Is that a reason or an evidence? And if it's an evidence or a reason, which one does it go with? Well, let's see. It's talking about shops being healthy. Maybe it goes there. Workers at the shelter have a chance to get to know the animals better than workers at a pet store. So we're talking about workers. I'm matching up workers with workers. Pets that have lived at an animal shelter are often healthy and well-adjusted. Okay. This is talking about the personality, so maybe it goes there. Good pets are often left at shelters by owners who have had a change in their circumstances. Maybe there. Purebred dogs may cost hundreds. Okay, this is talking about cost. I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to change the. It won't let me. I bet I'm going to get these two wrong. Let's check. Oh, I got a lot of them right. Okay, so let's look back and see. I got one right. Workers. Okay, so I need to look at this again. If this is the reason, what is the evidence behind that? Which one of these shows? So let's do replay. And let's see if you can do better than Miss Jordan and figure out how and where they go. All right. So if the reason is some pet shop owners buy puppies from puppy mills, what is the evidence? Pet shops. Some pet shop owners buy puppies from puppy mills. I don't know. I'm gonna let y'all probably better at this than I am. This is the reason pets are not expensive at a shelter. Some pet shop owners, I don't know that that's evidence to support that though. Pets from pet shops may not be healthy or well adjusted. I bet that's where it goes. Or we have workers at the shelter are better prepared to help new owners choose. Workers at the shelter have a chance to get to know the pets. I bet that's the evidence for that. Purebred dogs may cost hundreds of dollars while they're much less expensive at shelters. So pets are not expensive at a shelter. I think that's going to go there with that. Pets that have lived at animal shelters are often healthy and well adjusted. Animals at shelters have plenty of staff to take care of them. I'm going to go with that. Good pets are often left at the shelter by owners who have had a change in circumstances. Maybe. Let's check. I think I got it right that time. Yay! All right. And then you can hit replay and try it on your own. And hopefully you did better than Miss Jordan the first time. All right. We're going to go down here to slide 5. Convincing the reader. When a writer is trying to persuade readers, presenting reasons to back up the claim as well as evidence to back up reasons is an important part of the essay. Let's check out some examples from A Cat is Not a Can of Soup. To begin with, you may believe that you're more likely to find a healthy, well-adjusted dog or cat at a pet shop. From what I have seen here in town, not all pet shops are the same. The writer begins by acknowledging that the reader might think and making a counterclaim. Counter opposite. Some good shops are run by animal lovers who try to give good care to the creatures they sell, although they lack time to give much individual attention to each one. Here, the writer presents the first piece of evidence for the reason. In other shops, the animals are treated like merchandise, like cans of soup or boxes of soap. These shop owners may buy dogs from puppy mills, businesses that turn out puppies as if they actually were cans of soup. And here the writer presents further evidence to support the claim. Slide 6. Unsupported claims. Sometimes authors of persuasive essays present reasons that are not supported by evidence. As a reader, you should pay close attention to these reasons and then evaluate them to make sure they are based on fact. Check out the example from A Cat is Not a Can of Soup. And again, if you don't already have evaluate in your vocabulary document, there it is right there. Booyah. Click on it again. Copy. And right click and paste. And again, I like to bold this once I have it done. All right, and remember to hit save. To me, the very best reason for adopting a pet is that you get back tremendous loyalty and love from your rescue pet. I happen to think that animals from shelters appreciate good homes even more than pet shop animals do, making them more faithful and affectionate. Although this statement presents a reason for adopting a pet from a shelter, it does not present evidence to support this reason. The author is stating an opinion rather than an evidence-based fact. So, analyzing persuasive essays. Authors of persuasive essays are writing with a purpose to convince the reader about an idea. Review what you've learned about persuasive essays by answering the questions. What are 3 of the main elements of a persuasive essay? Again, you may want to copy and paste these into your review document. The 3 main elements of a persuasive essay are claims, reasons, and evidence. Again, copy, paste into that review document. The one where you put the ones about the multiple choice questions. So you can put those in there. That's where I would put it. Number 2, what is an author's claim in a persuasive essay? A claim is the idea that an author wants to persuade the reader to accept. Again, if you haven't got the definition of claim in your vocabulary, be sure that it's there. Okay, we do have the definition. Number 3, how does an author support his or her claims in a persuasive essay? Think of your answer. Let's check it. Authors support their claims by presenting reasons and evidence to the reader. Number 4, what is an unsupported claim? Think of your answer. Let's check and see if you were right. Unsupported claims are not backed up by evidence. Usually they're opinions. All right, we're on 7 out of 7, so we're going to go back up here to the top and move to Module 8. And we're at the end of the lesson. Why do I have 7 out of 8? I don't understand. Oh, well. Maybe it's because it just hasn't recorded everything yet. Did I miss something? Nope. I've got check marks everywhere, so I'm good. All right, and then you're ready to move on to 2.02. There's no assessment attached to this one, but be sure that you do take good notes because you might see questions from this lesson on the 2.02 quiz. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that you found this lesson and this tutorial video helpful. Again, come see me during open office if you have any questions, or shoot me an email at ljordan@tvahallsville.org, or call me and leave me a voice message or a text at 254-307-0033. See y'all next time. Bye.